emzimbeni lokho kunciphisa emathuba ekwencisela iHIV kulomunye.
#Jova nawe. Lo mlayeto wemasonto neulethelwa litiko letempilo libambisene naNecha namhla buhlangene.
It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Adboingwan alongside Zamanzi Maze. Thank you so much indeed for choosing to stay with us. We're coming to live from our Hospital Hill studios in Babane. Let's take a look at our top stories. The Deputy Prime Minister, Themba Masuku, says the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister has recorded an increment of 1,620 elderly grants beneficiaries during the first quarter of the 2022-2023 fiscal year. The Minister of Finance, Nuru Rickenberg, says through the Eswatini government 5 billion rand issuance program, the Kingdom of Eswatini will improve in some of the countryside priority sectors such as health and education. And the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has approved the increase of bread price by 20.76% with effect from Wednesday, the 13th of July 2022. And now the news in detail. The Deputy Prime Minister, Themba Masuku, says the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister has recorded an increment of 1,620 elderly grants beneficiaries during the first quarter of the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Deputy Prime Minister has been speaking in Parliament during the debate of the Portfolio Committee's first quarter budget performance reports.
On Monday, the Eswatini Parliament commenced the debate of first quarter budget performance reports by government ministries led by the ministries' portfolio committees. One of the performance reports debated on the day was that of the Deputy Prime Minister's office, which its portfolio committee is led by Metula Member of Parliament Derek Masuku as the chairperson. The Deputy Prime Minister, Themba Masuku, then delivered his preamble before the House.
During this reporting period, the office has recorded 1,620 incremental number of elderly persons registered for grants, raising the number from 75,481 to 77,101 beneficiaries. Over the financial year, the office anticipated budget shortfalls on elderly and OVC grants. Thus, a supplementary request will be forwarded in due course.
Members of the committee then debated the report.
Every time why has this thing not been made smooth like we all get paid? But why? What is wrong? How can we help? A national disaster sekuyethusana seku-alarming nginakocabanga kokuthi sekutawugcina sekufanana kubuka kubo-true detective kubongilandi
ingabe le nombolo vele yalaba lebe bacele lolu sito beyithini yona yalaba lebe bacele lolu sito.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Themba Masuku, then responded to the debate.
Things are a funeral cover. It's very difficult. That's once beaten, twice shy. Ukona ema policies leswentile angena regulations. They've come back to haunt us. So lapha kufuneka sibeketelelane ngoba nawuva ukuthi kunalolu shintsho ngikolokunye kuhamba kancane, but we must have ama-regulations. I think we have learned ukuthi ungeke usukele into nyalo ushise uthambane okwenta ukuthi, and then after that sengene wonke lo muntu la ngekhathi kanti kube bekunalama-regulations, so sita ukuphendula naloko.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office is expected to submit written and detailed responses on Wednesday. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Suekoza, Parliament.
The Minister of Finance, Honor Regenbeck, says through the Eswatini government's 5 billion rand issuance program, the Kingdom of Eswatini will improve in some of the countryside priority sectors such as health and education.
On Monday, the House of Senate resumed its parliamentary business, where one of the issues debated on the day was that of the Minister of Finance, where the Minister of Finance, Honor Regenbeck, moved that the Senate House pass the Kingdom of Eswatini government 5 billion rand bond issuance program listed with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange for the Physical Budget Support Structured Loan Bill of 2022. The minister then delivered his preamble before the House.
This is expected to improve the subscription ratio or rate of the overall government funding costs. Furthermore, since the South African Rand and the Lilangeni are pegged 1-to-1, the choice to issue in Rand eliminates foreign exchange risk associated with external financing, which are normally denominated in dollars, euros, pounds, yuan, or yen.
Senators then debated the matter.
Ingabe ayiphi nema conditions mengameli lenza balesikhuluma ngayo lamuhla.
Kuyabonakala ukuthi le budget yethu ifinancewa ngema-loans. Bengingafisa ke kuva ukuthi ngane mangakhe ama-loans mhlawumbe loan bills mhlawumbe latawuqhamuka noma sekhona yini noma sekaphelile nyalo.
The interest rate is not indicated here, and that is of concern because the interest rate then could change as per the, hopefully not the whims of the lenders.
Nyalo nasesi ya le Eswatini kutokwendeka kanjani ekhaya ato chubeka noma nami leSwati nalifuna kuthenga ibond yahulumende so seto eJohannesburg Stock Exchange yini noma nalakhaya atophinza abe khona la flothwako elathile.
The minister also responded to the debate.
In our term, for this 11th Parliament, we have found ourselves on a fiscal deficit of about 7.5%, which means every year we need about 5 to 6 billion emalangeni to keep the lights on, to keep on going. We've been working hard as a full team here to try and get that down every year. First we went to 7.5, went to 6.5, went to this year it's 4.6. Next year it's what you call 1% fiscal deficit, which means you're on a sustainable path, which means the money that you are loaning is the same amount that what you are repaying. There's a 1% fiscal deficit means you can take a bit because your economic growth, there's a bit of economic growth balancing out the 1%, meaning that your debt to GDP ratio is remaining the same.
The House of Senate then referred the bill to the Committee of the Whole House. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Suekoza with Muslim Konta, Parliament.
The Minister of Health, Lizinkos, has delivered the ministry's first quarter performance report before the ministry's portfolio committee at the House of Assembly. Now, members of the House of Assembly emphasized on the lingering issue of drug shortage in local health facilities.
On Monday, the Eswatini Parliament commenced the debate of the first quarter budget performance reports by government ministries led by the ministry's portfolio committees. One of the performance reports debated on the day was that of the Ministry of Health, which its portfolio committee is led by Masaisini Member of Parliament, Mduduzi Dlamini, as the chairperson. The Minister of Health, Lizinkosi, delivering her preamble before the House, said the Kingdom of Eswatini, through the Palala Fund, transferred 1,009 emaswati to neighboring countries using over 21 million emalangeni.
Transferred in this quarter, 1,009 patients were transferred to specialists through the Palala Fund. As of June 30th, Palala Fund paid out 21,554,000 emalangeni, 928.22 cents of the 24,988,123 emalangeni that were released to pay our service providers.
Members of the committee then debated the report emphasizing on the issue of drug shortage in healthcare facilities.
The issue of drugs in this country is a cause for concern. I personally believe ayibangwa imali kude lendlela yokumanager leti. Sesitaphe kusola imali nikhutela omunye umhlonishwa la athi kuyebiwa. I want to say kuyebiwa le mithi. Iyebiwa le mithi.
Sengilenza yaka COVID che. Naku lesikufakile nje ngamask. Uthi ngabe seyini kangaka lesiyendile thina. Ngwelile ngiyekulelive labo makhelwane che. Mawuphuma lapha egede nabangenelani ukuthi ujovile unesitifiketi utestile. Nisemngcwabeni ukuthi usho umunye lofake imask.
I think sesiqala liviki lesithathu now. Nangaphosisi. If not less 4. Emakhelwane sayisusile le mask.
The Minister of Health, Lizingosi, was also afforded the opportunity to respond to the debate.
Phela ngendlela besibhadala ngayo ngiyo lenye besibangela tihibele tisite lapha ekseni ube nema-delays ngoba besimmela umuntu nasimnike i-order azaligcwalise leli order noma ngabe sekasinikete 99% sesiyawumbhadala sekuphelile lesikwendile sokusicela umsebenzi esikwenda kona manje ukuthi siwabhalele onke ama-suppliers ukuthi asiwavale ama-order sitobabhadala abatosisupply lokho kutasisita kusikule quarter lesikuyo siyethemba ukuthi imisita uhamba kangcono.
Emalunga endlini agcina shukumisa ukuthi indvuna ilethe timphendvulo letibhaliwe. Lesihlalo waleli komiti Mduduzi Dlamini athi kumele indvuna ilethe lo mbiko ngalesithathu Ndzambama. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza ngiseParliament. Members of the House then moved that the minister submit written responses to the House, which the portfolio committee's chairperson said it should be before Wednesday.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polile Shakantu, says His Majesty's Correctional Services is ready to commemorate the Correctional Day this coming Friday. The Minister Shakantu said these when observed.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polile Shakantu, is impressed with the preparations for the Correctional Day by His Majesty Correctional Services, which is expected to be held this coming Friday. She says it is clear that the officers are ready for the day. She continues to encourage the officers to remain in high spirit.
For their majesties, congratulate nonke. Ne-parade lesizibonile namuhla yinhle kakhulu. Ngicela nje unikhuthata Commissioner General nawo wonke ama-officials ukuthi siqhubeke silungiselele lo usuku. Ngiyabona nala ngaphandle sekuvele kukhomba kona ukuthi sesilungele ku-receive wona emakhosi ngalesihlanu. Ngini-encourage ukuthi niqhubeke nisebenze nente lo msebenzi lomuhle lenwendako salesilungela lelo suku lamhla ka-15.
His Majesty Correctional Services Commissioner General Phindile Dlamini echoed Minister Shakantu's words that the officers are ready for Correctional Day. The Commissioner General added that everything is in order.
Lolobona la ngembili minister lotambona ngalesihlanu mhla ka-15. Libutho lakho litabeli la ligcoke njengoba ligcokile minister. Sesiredi. Emakhosi sijabula satofika nanawo ato sibona sithamele lilanga. Ngingasho ukuthi malungiselelo sasecopheni lisedulu minister. Ngekhathi enkundleni sebaredi. Lapho kutawudlelwa khona sebaredi. Nalabalungisa kudla minister for the day sebaredi. Emabala minister kusekela okuncane ukuthi konke kume ngemumo. Angisho ukuthi Minister who are ready for 15.
The Correctional Day is usually attended by Their Majesties, the royal family, top government officials, as well as multitudes of Eswatini. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, visual source from His Majesty Correctional Services.
Government has approved the increase of bread price by 20.76% with effect from Wednesday, the 13th of July 2022. This is contained in a press release from the Minister of Commerce, Mangoba Khumalo.
things seem to be getting from bad to worse for consumers in the country by the day. In a press release from the Minister of Commerce, Mangoba Khumalo, government has approved the increase of both brown and white bread prices by 20.76% with effect from the 13th of July 2022, which is this week, Wednesday. This means 700-gram white bread will be sold at 15 emalangeni 29 cents and brown bread will be sold at 13 emalangeni 68 cents. In the press release, the minister says the increase has been brought about by the prevailing economic conditions that have prompted an upward shift in the prices of raw materials used in bread production. Major producers of wheat have taken a decision not to export their produce, thus making wheat a scarce and costly commodity globally. The increase is envisaged at keeping the bread industry at sustainable profitability levels worldwide. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB, Mbabane.
Young people from Mbabane East and West constituencies battled it out during a recruitment exercise conducted by Umbutfo Eswatini Defence Force on Monday. Chief Maja Ndonjeni Gunene from Tsimba Chiefdom urges the youth to stay away from illegal activities in order to increase their chances of employment opportunities.
Competition was tough when the youth under Mbabane East and West constituencies compete to secure army jobs. The Umbutfo Eswatini Defence Force is currently recruiting 6 candidates in each constituency to join the army in all constituencies across the country. The recruitment process begins with running and further doing exercises. Chief Machahen Vonjeni Gunene of Mtsimba Chiefdom says the youth should live a clean life so they can stand chance in jobs opportunities.
Ngiyacela nami iyouth ukuthi ndaloyo akahlale ngentombi nesisho sithi ayihlale ngentombi kumatima la ngephandle kumatima kakhulu kungenteka futhi nakhona lapho fulakala ukuthi sowulahlekelwa impilo yakhe abangagcineli la ukuthi sebehlulekile kunema-team lengathi amelele lakangwane laseSwatini ngasho nje ngingabekisa kunabo correctional service kanjalo futhi nawo umbutho ngathi umbutho nawo unayo i-team yematubane ube nje bangangena bajoyine eteamini.
Mbabane East constituency headman Mefika Mavuso says the youth came out in their numbers to compete in the army jobs.
Siyabonga siyimbabane East inkundla siyajabula ngedinombolo esitibonile debamla abasha abaphumile.
6 of those who won the recruitment exercise under Mbabane East constituency are Thulani Malenzisa, Gcina Magong, Nkosinathi Nkambule, Mncedisi Dlamini, Girls who won Cebile Shongwe and Ntombizile Bhembe. Under Mbabane West constituency winners are Sibusiso Dube, Nkosi Ngiphile Dlamini, Mbuso Dlamini, Bongani Gininza, Girls who won Jabulile Shongwe and Promise Dludlu. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane East constituency.
A non-profit-making organization called Women in Trade Development will train 200 young females on computer skills and internet in 3 constituencies. Now, the director of the organization, Sebenzile Dlamini, says the 3 constituencies are Mochane, Uhugwini, as well as Mapalaleni.
Women in Trade and Development has officially launched a program which seeks to empower out-of-school rural adolescent girls and young women aged 13 to 24 years. The empowerment process is expected to take 2 years and the beneficiaries will be assisted about starting businesses as well as assessing financial assistance. Women in Trade and Development Director Sebenzile Dlamini elaborates about the project.
Women and the girl child have been suffering systematically, from discrimination, which makes them not able to access a lot of opportunities. We're grateful that now it is government's policy that every child must go to school, but in historical times, some households would decide not to give education opportunities to the girl child and promote the education of the boy child. And even at the job or in the labor market, we still see women as cheap labor. Why don't we see women as individuals that are capable of founding and directing companies because they are already showing us that they are capable of leading, because in many households the women are leaders even though they are men.
American Embassy Ambassador Jen Malone is represented by Stefan Sonderveld. She says the country is losing about 50% in economy by not empowering women.
We must continue to lead the charge by empowering young, underprivileged women and girls with skills and training that will equip them to succeed. And this is exactly what this program proposes to do. Only with equal access to skills and resources can we create equity and develop women leaders of the future.
The U.S. pumped in 75,000 emalangeni to the project, which seeks to empower women in computer skills and internet so that women are not left out in development. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Eswatini.
Psychologist Ndonia Manzi Mdlalosi has urged university students to seek psychological counseling or talk to a close friend or relative about issues bothering them rather than resorting to suicide. She urges university management to also give an ear to students. She was commenting on the suicide cases of university students reported last week.
Following the reported cases of 2 suicide cases of university students from the University of Eswatini and Limpopo universities on 2 separate incidents this past week, psychologist Ndonia Manzi Mdlalosi has asked students to immediately seek psychological counseling and assistance or talk to a close relative and friend rather than resorting to suicide, which does not at all solve the problem.
I-suicide kulamalanga sekimna ngibuka ngathi seyifuna kuba ngathi into le fashion. It cannot be. This is a life. Ngumphefumulo, uNkulunkulu wathi ungumcalisi ungumphelisi. Wena Nkosi yami lo sekhaya, wena mbukeli, wena lo sengcakini lematima. Just know ukuthi uyaganga. You are not the ender of your life. There is someone.
She says, true as it may be that people are faced with a lot and are dealing with a lot these days, but suicide cannot be the solution since they have their future ahead of them.
Phinze futhi as much as nginisola phinze ngiyancestela because lesimo lesiphila kiso kulamalanga naSwatini sesibi kakhulu. Asathi noma siyafunza noma siyayithola allowance noma siyabhala noma sibhali ekhaya make noma babe solahlekelwe kumsebenzi lusizi luningi kakhulu. We need to be more vigilant. So hulumende siyacela kakhulu ikakhulu wekuthi mental health issues asala aba priority bekunene.
She advises university management as well not to shut out students who come to them, but rather listen to them and their issues. She says government as well can play a role in ending these suicide cases by the students. She asks universities to prioritize mental health issues at all times. For Eswatini TV News, I am Kian MCB with Nonjabulo Makakula in Tandoguhle Mdluli, Ezulwini.
16 million emalangeni worth of copper wire were stolen in different places around the kingdom from January to June. Now, these numbers are according to the Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Pindile Vilagati, who says a majority of the cases were reported in Matsapa.
The Chief Police Information Communication Officer, Pindile Vilagati, says there is an increase in the number of copper theft cases in the country. She explained that 4 copper wire theft suspects were taken into custody, some from Matsapa and others from Malkans. Superintendent Vilagati mentioned that they greatly depend on information they get from Eswatini.
If we look at our statistics presently, we have recorded cases that amount to 16 million emalangeni, which is really a great loss for the country. So we're working collaboratively with most people in the country who give us information, and we appeal to more people to continue giving us information that will assist us to arrest those people who commit such crimes. We happened to arrest 4 people the previous weekend who had stolen copper from Matsapa and as well as Malkans, which was amounting to 250,000 for both places. We therefore request, especially those who are in this business, especially the people who, the market side, to please assist us whenever they are suspecting something
in their business line, because those are the people who can help us to identify and end up arresting those criminals.
Superintendent Vilagati says people that can assist in bringing this to justice will be the country as a whole, as well as those companies that purchase copper wires illegally. Reporting for Eswatini TV News is Nonjabulo Makakula with Kiani Msibi Mbabane.
Right now, let's take a look at our financial indexes and see how our markets performed today in our financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're still with the news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much indeed for choosing to stay with us. I'm Sunny Boy Ngwane. We shall now take a look at news making headlines in the world of sports. National team Semnegati physiotherapist Makawe Mamba says it was difficult for national team players to play in 3 games and 6 days because there wasn't enough time for them to recover. Mamba says the quarterfinals clash against Senegal on Wednesday will be much better since they would have 2 days to recover.
On Monday morning, Sihlang Semningati began preparations of their 2022 COSAFA Cup quarterfinals against Senegal. Speaking to Makawe Mamba, the team's physiotherapist, he says indeed it is a concern for the players having played 3 games in 5 days, but coming to the quarterfinals, they will at least get 2 days rest prior to the game.
So another thing is in terms of the recovery, because we focus a lot on recovery, the fundamental rest, naleyo hydration. So my ice bath now, that's why I incorporate why incorporate almost after every match. Like sit down, go address muscle soreness and speed up my recovery in terms of those injuries that were sustaining.
Sandy Rekametse and Kwake Mtsetwa are already thinking about the Wednesday clash and fully focused to make an impression.
Ngicabanga ukuthi kulithuba leli kahle futhi ukuthi siphinde sithole Senegal because last year yasenda kabi, so ngicabanga ukuthi inyalo singakhona kulungisa amaphutha lesawenda last year. Ngicabanga ukuthi ifixture le kahle futhi.
Ngathi enjoy kakhulu ukudlala because ezile tournament isakhula nami ngiyakhula ngikudlala, so ngicabanga kuyangisida naloko ukuthi improve sama.
The game will be played on Wednesday from 2 p.m. local time at the Prince Magogo Stadium in Durban. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msunera in the Republic of South Africa, Durban.
Following the launch of the tournament between Eswatini legends and African legends last week, some of the African legends have already confirmed that they will honor the tournament. Zambian legend Christopher Katongo is amongst those that have confirmed their participation.
Over a week ago, African Tourism Board launched a tournament that will feature local legends alongside African legends. The legends, including former Chipolopolo star Christopher Katongo, have confirmed that they are coming to Eswatini for the big game.
My name is Christopher Katongo, former Jomo Cosmos, the team in South Africa, and also former captain for the Zambian national team, also the winner for 22 of Africa Cup of Nations for my country. In Swaziland, I'm coming there for the game. See you there in Swaziland. I'll be there. Cheers.
Joseph Kamwendo, former Orlando Pirates, TP Mazembe, and Malawi International. Looking forward to the COSAFA Legends game in Swaziland. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Helder Pelembe, former Mozambican striker. I'm looking forward for the Legends game at Swaziland and see you there soon.
My name is Esrom Nyandoro, former Zimbabwe national team player at Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club. Looking forward to the game that we're going to play against the legends of Eswatini.
African Tourism Board will be conducting road shows to publicize the event in every town where there are pick and pay stores. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Lamini. Mbabane.
Well, that brings us to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much indeed for choosing to stay with us. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the crew at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.